May Bardagulan. Nagpahinga lang tayo ng konti. Ang dami ng mga hot takes at Bardagulan na nangyari dyan online na talagang ibang klase talaga mga kameta. Mga kameta, check natin yan ha. Ito talaga mga Bardagulan edition. Yan. Ayun naman, pangit na naman yung ano natin dyan. Earphones natin dyan. Okay, mga subscribe naman kayo dyan, mga kameta. Whether nandyan kayo sa Facebook, sa YouTube, pakisubscribe. Pag-usapan natin itong mga hot takes. Very hot takes by ating mga politikos. Kasama dyan itong iba. Kala ko yung Kalabaw research lang ano. So ito. Unahin muna natin ito yung mga... Nako, seryoso yung mga issue na yan, guys. So akala ko, ito talaga yung magta-top, no? Itong comment sa Kalabaw. Diba? Akala natin, ito yung talaga mag-next level na top. Eh kanina, meron na naman comment. Ayan. Dun naman sa issue ng inflation, meron na naman words of wisdom ang ating senadora. Ito. Meron siya. O, ito. Ewan ko na, baka fake news yan, ha? Lagot kayo dyan. Ito daw yung sinabi. O, nahanap natin online yan, ha? Ito. So, pakiano natin dyan. Pagdating dun sa issue ng inflation, ito po daw ang sinabi dun sa Senate hearing on yung hearing sa Committee on Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform. Ito po yung sinabi, no? Pag nagdi-discuss rin kami kung paano gagawin, sabi nila i-adjust yung planting season na iwasan yung bagyo para hindi tatamaan yung crop sa bagyo. Pag panahon ng bagyuhan, itanim root crops kasi yung root crops nasa ilalim ng lupa. So tinamaan ng bagyo, hindi siya affected. Matuto tayo kumain ng kamote. Ito. Yan, matuto tayo kumain ng kamote. Ito po yung ano natin ha, guys. Kasi mataas ang inflation natin. Siyempre, mataas ang inflation. Mataas ang... ay, mataas ang imports natin ng agricultural produce, di ba? Okay, ito, seryoso na ito. So, dapat talagang solution daw dyan. Yung isa pang pwede natin gawin dyan is, let's learn to eat kamote. Ayan. Kami yung mga taga-Baguio dyan, yung mga kabataan namin, yung mga kinakain namin kamote. Di ba? Yun naman. So, talaga may words of wisdom naman. Naalala niyo naman, of course, in the past, may words of wisdom din si ma'am. Doon sa issue ng research sa hindi trabaho ng Carabao Center mag-feed ng milk. Ang trabaho mo, mag-produce ka ng mga Carabao at gumawa ka ng mga processes ng Carabao para yan ang bili ng... Yan. So may mga words of wisdom talaga si ma'am. So mga hot takes na. Pag-usapan natin yan. So kamote ba ang sagot sa ating agricultural problems? Hindi, may hinanap ako yung hindi lang yung Carabao Center. Meron niya. Ito. Lawas natin yan. Kasi talagang maraming words of wisdom ang ating senator. Especially pagdating sa... Wait lang ha. Ito. Ito yung pinaka-favorite ko sa kanya, mga words of wisdom. Nasaan ka na? Ayan. Ito. Interact natin ulit yan, mga kameta. Naman tayo free. Wait lang. Ayan. Tama na yan.
Baliw na baliw kayo sa research. Nyo ba yung research? Ako, matalino akong tao, pero hindi ko maintindihan yung research nyo. Lalo na yung farmer. Gusto ba ng farmer yung research?
Yan. Tama yan. Maganda yan. Nasaan na yan? So yun, guys, marami tayong mga hot takes dito. Oh my God, nasaan na siya?
Madam Chair, they are now all under oath.
We have Attorney Caspesiones.
Wait lang. Bakit may background music tayo dyan?
Ano gagawin niya ngayon? Sinabi niya when the time...
Patay tayo dyan. Hindi natin alam ano yung nangyari dyan. Okay. Ito mga Basta matuto daw tayo magkamote. Yun po ang pwede nating sagot dyan sa agricultural self-sufficiency. No? May mga hot takes tayo dyan. In the meantime, yung presidential son natin, of course, meron din siyang hot take dito. Ito talaga eh. Ito yung mga favorite ko talaga eh. Talagang daming words of wisdom talaga sa sa agricultural sector. Eh, syempre guys, ito yung hawak din ni Paulo Marcos. 'Di ba? So, tingnan natin ano yung mga advice kay Paulo Marcos na pwedeng i-implement habang siya po ay Secretary of Agriculture at wala pa tayong Agriculture Secretary na permanente. Alright, huwag tayo masyadong mag-research dyan. Matuto tayo mag-kamote. Alright, wait lang Di pa yata tayo lunch, kaya kulang yung natin. Ito. Ayan, meron naman tayo words of wisdom naman from the presidential son naman pagdating dito sa, yun ang heartthrob natin, presidential son, London School of Economics, vlogger, bachelor dad's vlogger, mga ganun. Okay, ito po yung analysis po ng ating presidential son dito sa issue ng inflation. Again base sa mga reports nakita natin, post natin sa baba para makita niyo naman. Expected naman daw yung inflation na yan, unwelcome development, but it's expected given the numerous supply issues that happen. Even if we have reached a high inflation, I think since December 2018 was the last time na nakarating tayo sa ganong kataas na inflation. Wait lang. This is updated because the inflation we have is actually this is November 4, tama. Actually, our inflation, guys, factually correct, dapat tayo 14-year high. So it's not the highest since December 2018. Lampas na tayo sa 7%. Sa upper 7% na tayo, papunta na tayo sa 8% and double digit. Nakarating, so yan, medyo may correction tayo dyan. It's something that's being experienced with the whole world. It's really a global phenomenon. So with that, I guess we just have to keep on going and hope that this global phenomenon would work out for all. So ito naman yung dito sa hot tech na again. First of all, it's a 14-year high. Base sa nakita natin numbers. Alright? Pakita natin dyan. Inflation Philippines, 14-year high. So obviously, pag minus mo 22 sa 14, hindi lalabas ang 2018. Diba? Common sense lang yan. Diba? Ayan tayo dyan. Research tayo dyan. Ayan. Ito. Pakita natin dyan. 14-year high. Itong mga favorite newspaper nila lang kaya. Huwag tayo dyan sa mga dilawan daw na newspaper. Doon tayo sa mga newspaper na, gusto si tatay. Ito na lang. Ayan Guys, so first of all, ito kung correct to November 4, meron na tayong factual correction dito. If talagang November 1st, kasi hindi siya 2018, it's a 14-year high. So, babalik tayo sa panahon ni mga Tita Arroyo pa. Okay? Hindi tatay. Tita Arroyo level pa. Alright. So, it's a 14-year high. See? It's a 14-year high. So, obviously, minus nyo yung 22 sa 14, babalik na tayo sa late 2000s. Hindi 2018, but more like 2008, 2009. Diba? So, yun ang first of all, lahat makita natin. So, some correction there is very important. We need to be on top of the data. Again, assuming ito po ay, so, again, it's a 14-year high. Hindi siya 4-year high. It's a 14-year high. Okay? So, that's one fact we have to get correct. Hindi December 18, mga 2008 pa yan. 2008, 2009 pa yan. Okay, so that's one thing we have to keep in mind. The other thing, guys, na sinasabi ko dito is, yes, there's a global factor to it, but the inflation picture is very diverse across different countries. So the diversity, guys, is a reflection of different levels of vulnerability of different countries. Dahil dito sa Pilipinas, napakahina yung agricultural sector natin, right? Napakataas yung import levels natin, napakahina yung exports natin compared sa imports natin. Mga structural problems yan, no? So, hindi naman kasalanan ni Marcos lahat yan. At the same time, sabi din natin, may mga gawa din ng gobyerno on multiple fronts. For instance, it can provide targeted subsidies para tulungan yung supply ng agriculture dun sa mga indigent communities. Pwede magkaroon ng, for instance, you can have release of emergency reserves to bring down the price of certain agricultural goods, diba? Kung meron reserves ang government, kung there's a rice, sa NFA rice, diba? Ginagawa yan, for instance, to help yung mga ating kababayan kung may problema tayo sa rice. Meron din tayong pwedeng gawin ng mga monetary policies, di ba? Sabi natin, yung pwedeng gawin ng central bank, itaas ang interest rates para ibaba yung overall demand to push down also the prices. Ginagawa ng US Federal Reserve yan, ginagawa ng BSP yan. Some would say dapat more aggressive pa gagawin. Although BSP dun sa statement niya na discuss natin last week, sinabi naman niya, we cannot do everything. Others could also do their part and should do their part. Obviously, referring to the Department of Agriculture and other sector. Pero sabi naman ni Senator, magkakamoto na lang tayo, siguro yun yung isang sagot, diba? And then, there's so many other things to also do, no? We could also have strategic deals with some of our counterparts, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's some of the countries which can provide us grain or rice or some of the agriculture and basic goods at the best possible prices. So G2G deals, government to government deals, no? Yun din ang pwede natin gawin. So there's a full range of issues that governments can do in order to deal with an inflationary spike. Pero sabi ko parati guys, talagang malaki itong problema ng inflation dahil nga marami sa ating mga kababayan, their real wages are not increasing. So if the real wages of people is increasing, if the real wages of the people is increasing, then guys, even if mataas ang inflation, mas tumaas pa yung wages mo so you can beat the inflation. Yun talagang dapat goal natin. Pataasin talaga yung productivity at saka yung real wages ng ating mga kababayan, especially yung mga sa lower rungs of the socioeconomic class, para we can better deal with an inflation situation. As I said, in places like Turkey, inflation is at 60-70%, right? Insane. Some would say 120%. But the wages have been also increasing. But the prices of property have been increasing, and they have a huge middle class that, although their real wages kind of depressed, their net worth increased significantly, right? And the depression in real wages was not as high because the nominal wage was increasing enough to somehow keep up with the inflation rate. That's why even if 60-70%, hindi ganun kasakit. Pilipinas, 6-7% pa lang ang sakit na. Diba? You get what I'm saying? I'm not justifying what's happening in Turkey. I'm just saying everything has to be seen within a bigger picture. Kaya hindi pwede idadaan sa hot take lang yan. Hindi idadaan sa isang paragraph explanation. You have to have a much more comprehensive understanding and explanation of a particular phenomenon katulad nito. Alright? But at the same time, of course, huwag tayo mag-insensitive na sabihin natin hindi issue yung inflation. Malaking issue talaga yung inflation. Pero isang dahilan na malaking issue yung inflation is dahil napakababa yung sahod at yung productivity levels natin. No? So if the real wages can catch up, everything can move in the right direction. Now, moving to a much more serious issue, Senate President Zubiri also had kind of a, I don't want to say peroration, but had may pagka-hot take din siya dito sa report from the United Nations questioning itong situation natin pagdating sa human rights issues, no? So, quite defensive yung kanyang response. Tingnan natin na, mga kameta, 1 second, ilalabas ko lang to. Pakinggan muna natin si Senator Zubiri before we make judgments or make discussions about this. Interestingly, si Senator Zubiri, may sinabi naman siya na ukol sa China, right? And I'm not sure the Chinese would like, no? So last time, ito yung issue na claim niya na the Chinese ambassador said, or the translator of the Chinese ambassador said na, marami mag-English yung Chinese ambassador, diba? Na baka mag-blacklist tayo dito tayo sa Pogo issue na yan, tapos nag-walk back yung Chinese embassy. Nagkaroon na hit one. This time naman, may sinabi na naman ulit si Mig Zubiri sa China. But of course, the primary issue was human rights and journalism. And related din ito dun sa issue na diniscuss natin kahapon, mga kameta. Pakinggan natin ng sandali ito. Bakit ganon? Ito. Mga kameta. Narinig niyo? Narinig niyo, mga kameta? Ay. Nagsabay-sabay yata yung iba. Narinig nyo ba? Wait lang Ba't hindi nakawala pa rin yung research na yan? Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Kasi andun pa rin yung isa eh. Kainis, wait lang ah. Paano ko ilabas yung isa? Ayan na naman tayo eh. Yung ano kasi natin kay Ma'am Cynthia, andun pa rin siya sa background but I don't know where it is. Hindi ko naman siya nakikita dito. Saan siya napunta? Research, research kasi kayo ng research, research. Tuloy ano nangyari dito. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ito yata. Ayan. Okay, okay. Ito, ayusin natin. Interact natin to ah. Ayan, dapat maayos yan.
Unfair sa mga agencies na yan. It's unfair because those who are against government go out today, magsigaw dun sa kalsada, ilalabas ng media, kinabukasan, pwede umuwi ng bahay, wala mangyayari sa kanila.
Sir, but there's still chilling effect after the first sinabi. That is a reality, sir.
You want the chilling effect, you'll go to China. Can I invite you to China and do your reporting there? You will be caught on site and go to jail on site. That's a chilling effect. Yung nangyari kay Percy Lapid has no, for me ako yan, has to be the full force of the law. We cannot in any civil society allow impunity. Talagang ako dyan, mabigat ako pagdating dyan. Full force of the law should be implemented. Hulihin, parusahan, yan ang napakalaga. Pero may mga siraulo, wala talaga tayo magawa. Maraming siraulo. Whether it is mass shootings in the United States or in Thailand na pumasok, papatayin 40 children. There are crazy people everywhere in the world. What is important is the enforcement, apprehension, and actual punishment. You make the case very big. Pinapaputok niyo yung kaso. Pero sa totoo lang, sa ibang bansa, kagagaling ko lang sa ibang. Ganun din ang problema nila.
Sir, pero di ba part of the
So, ito guys so, ang nangyari dito is parang sinasabi ng, una-una, yung statement niya sa China ay very interesting. Nasasabi niya kung talagang, kung totoo kang journalist, makukulong ka kaagad sa China, which is an interesting thing considering, di ba, beshi ni tata yung China niyan. Iba na naman. Iba na naman. Matuto na naman tayo magtanim ng kamote dyan, mga kameta. Hindi. Naka-second strike na yan. Nung last time naman, doon sa issue ng naalala niyo, yung sinabi ni Zubiri doon sa issue ng China na bina-blacklist tayo, dinanay. Ngayon naman sinabi kung sa China wala talagang freedom of free press, which by the way is correct honest siya. I like that. Yung point naman kasi doon sa human rights issue, that I do not agree because a report came out that shows the Philippines is actually among the 10 worst countries on earth. So it's not like we're just like another ordinary country. No. We're top 10 in the world, guys. Top 10 in the world. Pagdating dito sa violence against journalists, no? So ilabas natin yung report na yan kasi yun yung nirespond ni Senate President Zubiri. So we have to be very clear about these facts, guys. It's very, very important. No, it's very, very important. So ito labas ko yung tweet ni parang Jail Cornelio who kindly shared it. No, ito. Ito guys, basahin natin. Hindi ito, kasi ito ang problema ko. Bine-blame pa yung media for exposing facts. Parang sinasabi, wag na natin pansinin yan para hindi mang issue yan. That's not how it works. You have to deal with the issue because it's a real issue. Right? To just, shove it below, the carpet, it doesn't work that way. So ito guys, ito yung report na, so meron tayo guys, ito yung situation natin that of course in light of Kapersi's assassination, it's something that it's very palpable, no? Very, very palpable. So ito, yung Pilipinas po ay rank 7 worst country on earth, no? Pagdating sa murder of journalists, base sa report ng Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ. This is the 15th year, no? So almost dalawang dekada na, guys, ng Pilipinas po ay talagang nasa problematic location pagdating sa list na yan. And tignan mo yung mga countries na kasabay ng Pilipinas. Somalia, gitna ng giyera. Syria, gitna ng giyera. South Sudan, giyera. Afghanistan, Iraq, Myanmar, Pakistan, India, Mexico, Brazil. Alright? So, kitang-kita talaga, in a very big problems yan. According dun sa CPJ 2022 Global Impunity Index, the Philippines tallied 14 unsolved journalist murders in the last decade, and the same ranking this year as the last year. No? So sabi ni CPJ, the election of President Marcos Jr. brought hope of a shift away from outgoing President Duterte's campaign of intimidation and harassment of the press, but it noted that murders of Mabasa and another journalist, Mr. Blanco, raised fears that the culture of violence and impunity will endure. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, let's support President Marcos when it comes to getting to the bottom of the issue here, no? Yung assassination ni Kapersi. And in a way, we should welcome the fact that high-level officials, including the DILG Secretary and Justice Secretary, all of them are kind of on top of this. So sabi ni President Marcos, under my lead, we will support and protect the rights of the media as they efficiently perform their duty. Sabi ng Marcos administration, they're strongly committed to protection and safety of members of the media in the country. Nevertheless, ayon sa CPJ, the vast majority of killers of journalists continue to get away with murder. In nearly 80% of 263 cases of journalists murdered sa Pilipinas related to their work for exposing abuses by those in power or criminal groups, the perpetrators have faced no punishment whatsoever. So malaking issue, guys, malaking issue itong impunity ng mga tao na nag-engage in violence against those doing their job as journalists and working in the press and broadcasting sector, no? In a statement on Thursday, nag-respond din ang Department of Justice spokesperson Miko Clavano. Ayon sa kanya, the index will not stop the new administration from investigating, prosecuting work-related killings and harassment of journalists. We understand the importance of good journalism and will take concrete steps in protecting those that simply want to keep the government and its officials in check. It is right we must respect and preserve. On its part, ang National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, NUJP naman, also underscored the fact that yung report na yan adds to making journalism a dangerous, underscores the fact that journalism is a dangerous profession in the Philippines. In a social media post, ang sabi nila, the report is even more timely as the government investigation into the killing of broadcaster Percy Labit continues amid twists and complications. While we welcome initiatives by the government to engage with journalists and to look into their safety and security, NUJP holds that the resolution of cases of attacks against our colleagues, as well as the assurance that threats against us will be taken seriously, are among the best ways to ensure that we can report without fear of reprisal. We hope that the CPJ findings are not dismissed as propaganda, will instead prompt the government to redouble efforts to solve the cases. Let me just say that in fairness naman sa Marcos administration, I don't think they took a dismissive stand towards it, as we can see from the statement of the spokesperson of the Department of Justice, as you can see in the statement of President Marcos earlier, they are recognizing that there's a problem and they're recognizing the need to do something about this. Kaya nga, medyo na-weirdoan na ako. Now we have this kinds of statement whereby parang the onus is being placed on the media. So yung appeal ng Senate President natin, I appeal to the media na tulungan nyo naman kami mapagandahin ang imahe ng Pilipinas. My point is that if gusto natin papagandahin yung imahe ng Pilipinas, then let's get to the bottom of the problem. Let's not deny the problem. Let's not be an ostrich, burying our head into the sand in order not to see the problem. Katulad nung nung casing Percy Lapid, nahuli na nga yung bumarel at mahuli na nga yung mastermind, tumulong naman kayong i-announce yan sa buong mundo. Okay. So ang concern naman is that the moves in the right direction are not being emphasized enough. But ang point ko naman, the CPJ is not looking at one case or two cases. The CPJ is looking at more than 200 cases, no? And it's saying that out of those hundreds of cases, 263 cases, 80% we have a situation of impunity. So it's not a case or one case or two. Kaya nga medyo may concern ako dito sa hot take na yan. And in fairness to the Marcos administration and DOJ, the Department of Justice, they had statements that at least are reassuring on the surface. Now let's see how the execution is going to go. And hopefully the investigations will really bring justice as far as Kapersi's case is concerned. Alright, I'll keep it here guys. Alam ko lunchtime na yan. Habol natin yung lunchtime. Medyo low bat tayo. Trabaho pa tayo. Magme-meta pa tayo mamaya, God willing. Ang ihabol ko lang mga kameta is ito ihabol ko lang itong confirmation na magkakaroon ng sequel ang Made in Malacanang. Alright? So, may confirmation na tayo from no less than I think a senator. Right? So, balikan natin yung issue na yan. So, pag-usapan natin si Direct Daryl, pag-usapan din natin Made in Malacanang. Maraming talagang kailangan pag-usapan yan. Yun lang guys minsan kailangan talaga i-interrogate itong mga hot takes ng mga politikos. Otherwise, ayan, matuto na lang tayo kamote. Alright, have a good day guys. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat sa nagbigay ng comments, suggestions, sa mga nagbigay ng stars and support. I really appreciate that. Have a good day. Maaga pang araw. Balikan ko kayo. I know out of nowhere bigla itong itong meta natin. Pero sabi ko talagang patulan natin to. Patola na to. Alright. Thank you very much guys. God bless. Talk to you soon.